Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. This video comes from Salt Lake City. And this video does not follow a typical critical incident briefing video. There's no spokesperson, there's no slideshow giving information about what's going on or anything like that. The footage that you see was just footage that has been released by the Salt Lake City Police. And that's it. So I'm going to play the videos from this, and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go. Nothing wrong with your audio. It's just the buffer on the body cam.
He's still going.
Hyundai Sonata Silver. He's gonna go southbound. What's the street? Orange Street. He's about to hit 500 south. He's bailing out. Negative. We're on Orange Street and
Fix that.
south. He's going through
Fix that.
the railroad tracks.
Fix that. The T8's hit. T8.
Somebody through T8.
Show me your head! Shots fired! Shots fired! Is he out?
No, he's going past
184!
fly up this one.
Let him know last place we saw him.
Delta 183, last place we saw him.
He's up here.
He's going possibly through the shop, so I'm turning south. He's going to go southbound. Woo! Yep, keep going.
He's still going.
Yep. Hyundai Sonata Silver. He's going to go southbound. What's this street? Orange Street. He's about to hit 500 south. He's bailing out. He's bailing out. Negative. We're on Orange Street and 100 south. He's going through the railroad tracks.
Fix that.
Delta 183, T8.
Hey, coming out!
On street 100 South. Out. No, he's going to passenger.
184.
All right. Let's get into it. So this incident started
He's battling out.
when the suspect attempted to carjack a vehicle near 600 South and Interstate 15. He was unsuccessful in his first attempt, but in a second attempt while using a firearm, according to police. That was all the information from KSL TV. Take another look at SLTRIB. So, carjacked the vehicle. He received the call about 38-year-old Matthew, no idea how to pronounce this last name, Cieslak. A motorist reported the man with the gun was on 600 South off-ramp. There was 911 calls, and I think radio traffic released by Salt Lake City Police. That was like 25 minutes long, so I decided not to include that in here. But if you are interested in listening to that, you can go to the Salt Lake City Police YouTube page and find that video there. There's actually 3 separate videos. The 2 body camera footage videos that I've shown, and then the 3rd video is the communications. So not much I can see that is in a news article giving any good information. It does say 4 minutes after the suspect went down, officers started CPR. Suspect died. Yeah, that's a GoFundMe page set up for his wife and children. States that he was a military veteran who had post-traumatic stress disorder. He was a special operations combat medic for 17 years and served 3 tours of duty, 1 in Iraq and 3 in Afghanistan, according to the page. This world lost a hero. This larger-than-life war veteran tragically died this week due to the effects of PTSD. An attempt to reach his wife was not successful. That's it. Nothing else in the article. So the special operations combat medic. I wish there was more details about that. Let me click on this GoFundMe page and go take a gander at this. So at time of recording, it is April 20th, and so far they've raised $10,815. See here, it says Special Operations Combat Medic for nearly 17 years. Completed. So it doesn't really go into any details about his alleged service. But they do reiterate that he died due to the effects of PTSD. Now, he died due to pointing a fucking gun at the police and shooting at them. So, this mental health stuff. I'm not saying that there's not any mental health issues in this country. I think there is a lot of mental health issues in this country. There are some people who are just flat out batshit fucking crazy. I know. I've dealt with them. I've transported these crazy ass sons of bitches to Western State Hospital. I have personally dealt with just crazy motherfuckers. But not every single person is like Joker from Batman kind of crazy, right? And I think that this whole mental health thing is really a crutch for a lot of people to give some kind of explanation about why someone they knew was just a fucking turd. He shot at them because he had mental health problems. No, he shot at them because he was a fucking dickhead, piece of shit. But people don't want to say that about their friends and family members. So they mental health. He had PTSD. Yeah, I'm not fully buying it. Sorry, too many people have tried to claim that, and we all know it's not the case for every single person. Now, I'm not saying that this guy didn't have PTSD. There's a possibility he did have PTSD. But that's another thing that a lot of the woke liberal left try to insinuate is veterans are just these fragile, damaged people with PTSD, and they could flip their shit in moments' notice and just fucking kill everyone, go Rambo on everyone, and that's bullshit. Like, that is total fucking bullshit. And they usually say that shit when veterans are trying to become police officers or have become police officers. They try to say, that's dangerous for them to be police. They could have PTSD. They could just start killing people. No. So, although he may have had PTSD or something like that, I don't think that that was a big determining factor on why he was doing what he was doing. Like, he's carjacking. He's trying to carjack people. I don't give a shit how many fucking IEDs you came across, how many times you've been shot at. That doesn't trigger you into going and carjacking innocent fucking people. It just don't happen. So there's a little bit more to this, and I personally would like to call into question, their allegations that he's a 17-year special operations medic. People who get into special operations, there's a difference between regular military and special operations. Like, regular military, you can have some fucksticks in regular military. Like, big army and Marines, like, you're going to have some dudes who are just fucking stupid and get arrested. That's why the military has military police. Because the regular military, regular army, hire so many people to do all these different jobs. Not every single job in the military is combat, right? Like, there are truck drivers, there's cooks, there's people who do manual labor and menial shit. Not everyone's a shooter. And so, when you have that, of course, you're going to be attracting a lot of the same people who would probably normally work at, Walmart and factories and stuff like that, and people who would, not saying all of them, but, a lot of people who'd be apt to get involved in criminal shit. People who have less critical thinking ability and act more on impulse. And so I could see if the dude was a regular grunt and did some time and then was doing some stupid shit like carjacking people, but it's a little bit harder to fathom that a person who was a 17-year special operations soldier would be out carjacking people. Like, that's a hard one to think about. It's not hard to think about. Like, oh my God, but it's not realistic to me. It's not something I would expect, because a lot of your special operations types are very smart people. A lot of them have advanced degrees. It's not something you would expect. It's not something you would think that a special operations person would be getting involved in. So, like I said, I kind of question that allegation there. But anyway, so get into
Negative. We're on Orange Street.
Now they are in some type of unmarked vehicle, and you can see what appears to just be one dash light right here, and then you can see a couple dash lights, or not dash lights, a couple of windshield lights to the rear, and then it looked like their rear reverse lights were flashing. I had no idea what it else to the front, so I don't know this particular vehicle and what its kind of assignment is, but it's obviously an unmarked vehicle. And so there's a possibility that there's probably not a rifle in the cab of this vehicle. Typically, unmarked vehicles don't have all that equipment in it. Now, not to say there couldn't be one in the trunk, but I just kind of doubt that there's one in the cab. If they were in a regular patrol vehicle, then there's a higher possibility that a rifle would have been in the cab of the vehicle. But I just don't think it's very likely that one would have been inside this vehicle. Now, I bring that up because when it comes to two-man cars and pursuits like this, I'm a firm believer that in the middle of this pursuit, the passenger, so long as there's a rifle in the cab of the vehicle, the passenger needs to get that rifle out and get it charged and get it ready to put into play. That way, when the vehicles come to a stop, boom, you're initiating felony traffic stop, and you've got a rifle pointed at the vehicle and a rifle ready to put into play. And a rifle is going to dominate a gunfight. Rifle cartridges outperform pistol cartridges every day of the week. No contest. It's non-negotiable. But like I said, I highly doubt there was a rifle in the cab of the vehicle since it's unmarked.
And
So he fires the slide lock, and when you think about police shootings, it's not always common for officers to fire the slide lock. But in this instance, he did fire the slide lock. The other officer fired the slide lock, I think, twice. So they expended a lot of rounds. So he moves away from the vehicle, and he comes back here. He does backpedal some. And that's kind of taking a little bit of a risk there, in my opinion, especially on this uneven ground, trying to backpedal away. He could have very easily fallen, but he did manage to pull this off pretty well while delivering fire. Once he runs empty, he does move off the X and then starts to come in behind the police car there to take better cover. So there is a bit of a lack of communication here. When the gun goes empty, he could have yelled cover, and then his partner would have been able to respond with covering, and then he could move, get off the X, reload, come up behind him, and then communicate to him that he's set, and the other guy would know that he's back in the fight. or some other kind of code word or phrase or something like that could be utilized to communicate that. Typically, you don't hear anyone advocating, yelling out, reloading, because you're obviously going to be communicating to the adversary that you're reloading your gun, and you don't want to advocate, or you don't want to advertise that to the bad guys that you're reloading. So, simply yelling out cover or moving would be suffice to be able to get that other person to get good cover while you are trying to get your gun back up and in the fight. So he fires around, and
Street, 100 south.
I'm not sure if that round he fired missed and hit the windshield, because we do see the windshield is broken here, and although you can't see it from this angle, you see it from the other officer's body camera footage. We end up seeing a bullet hole right about over in here in this rear windshield. So in this gunfight, one of them has popped the rear windshield here.
Yeah. No, he's going passenger. 184.
And we don't get to see the suspect very well from the second officer's body cam here. He's more or less over in here where you can't see him. So we'll go back to the first officer's body cam footage.
Show me your head! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Alright, so this is where we see the bullet hole at. So I'm pretty confident that this hole came from the officer that came out of the passenger vehicle and went this way and then fired while he was down behind the vehicle. Because we know that when he went down, there was no hole there. And then he does, while still down, move around this side and you can't see the rear windshield. But at this point, we see there's a hole there. So I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance that that second officer put that hole there. It's also possible the suspect fired and the round went through the front windshield and then came out the rear windshield. But I would say that based off how this officer kind of jerked and reacted when he was squatted down behind the vehicle, taking cover, that the second officer there plugged a hole in that rear windshield right here.
Is he out?
No, he's going passenger.
184.
And you see the suspect here, and then it ends very quickly. So you don't get to see the suspect very well, but he is advancing on these officers. So that's quick. Him doing a rush like that. I mean, it's like something you see with paintball players or something like that, and just kind of rushing a position. So, you know, if this guy could have been of the mindset of rushing them and taking that position, kind of a ballsy move, in my opinion, because you're coming up from behind cover and really exposing yourself. Not necessarily something I would expect out of a special operations person, but this could have also been to the point where, you know, he could have been feeling a little suicidal at this point. I don't know. I don't know what this dude's reasoning for coming out behind his cover like this was and rushing them like he did. But obviously it didn't work out too well for him because he ended up taking a dirt nap. We don't get to see any medical aid being rendered, even though the article mentioned, I think it was like 4 minutes afterwards, they ended up rendering CPR to him. No details about what kind of injuries he received, but it's possible that the injuries that he received, there's no amount of medical care they could have given him that would have made a difference. You know, it's possible that the injuries he received, he could have received those in the middle of the best trauma center in the world, and it still would not have made a difference with medical care. It just could have been one of those type of hits that is just completely fatal and unrecoverable. So since we don't get to see any medical stuff, I won't go into any of the medical spill, and we'll leave it at that. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.